Namaste, great to see you all. Where is the divine energy? Where, we talk about God over there or divine in here. And the Upanishads speak about it. It's everywhere. It's up, it's down, it's side, it's outside, it's inside, it's in the animals, it's in the mountains, it's in the trees, it's in the woods, it's in the water, it's on your feet, it's on your foot, it's your hand, it's you, it's your dog. And the first time Gurudev gave a talk in Gibraltar, I remember people were shocked when he said, you treat everything well, everything with respect. He said the word God, G-O-D. Turn it around. What is it? D-O-G. I just loved it. And he said, and that is the secret of really practicing Ahimsa. Because if you can see the divine in everything, then you don't have to think, am I practicing non-violence or not? You can't cause violence, not possible. So if you start to see the divine in your mother, your father, your sister, your friend, and then finally in the knowledge, then you see it in your wealth, in everything. When you see this energy in everything, then you will use whatever comes to your life to serve for the highest good of maybe your family, whoever's around you. Whoever's next to you, it doesn't matter. Whatever is next to you, even your environment, we're constantly practicing Ahimsa. So in your environment, how do you practice Ahimsa? Not burning down trees, cutting for the wood and burning down forests, look after nature, recycling, all these things. We can practice Ahimsa with our environment because everything is divine. And this is this mantra. You are my mother, you're my father. So many people have problems with their parents. Happens a lot. They, my mother did this to me and my father did this to me. I can't forgive them. And that thought is violent to the person who has it. So if you can really go into the depth of understanding why you had this horrible mother or this horrible father, and who harmed you so much in your life, and understand it is because of them that you are where you are today. And if you can understand that and truly forgive, and understand that they took those awful roles due to their own karma, but at the same time to help you find yourself and who you are, then what happens? All those violent thoughts that exist in your mind will dissipate because you see. Now you will have an understanding that everything is divine. You watch a good movie. There's the villains, there's the heroes. No heroes if you don't have villains. And the villains create the hero. So when you can see pain and suffering as a teaching, then you will no longer apply violence to yourself as well. Because every angry thought, as Julio told us last week, we heard a wonderful talk with him, every violent thought hurts your body, your own body. It makes you sick. It creates anxiety. It creates worry. It creates energy around your home that is not nice to be in. I see people who are very nervous and they tell me, I don't know why my family isn't helping me. And I go, would you like to walk in a home where somebody is so nervous? It's not that they don't want to help you, but your energy is too much for them. It's just quite violent. So what do you do? So I tell them, meditate a little bit, practice your voice, bring down your voice, practice every day. Notice how when you raise your voice for no reason, because it's a bad habit, and don't you do this, and why do you do this, and watch it. Watch that speech. Watch it. Quiet your mind. I always tell my students, imagine a zip and zip your mouth. You need to practice nonviolence. Some people say, I never have a bad thought. I'm a good person inside. Then why do you speak in that tone? You know, if you're a good person inside, you will not speak in that tone. So we need to examine all our words, thoughts, and deeds. It's a very deep practice. It is not a shallow practice. Just because you're very good to people when they're good to you, it's easy. Everybody can do that. Every single person can be good to the person that is good to them. What is difficult to do is maintain your peace. To maintain your peace when somebody isn't. And this is the true path of non-violence, which Gandhi showed us so beautifully in his whole movement. He called it passive resistance. He made a point peacefully. He did not accept the negative. He went and fought for what he believed in, but he did it passively. So it doesn't mean that if something is wrong, you don't react to it. You must react to it. And this is why I love teaching the Bhagavad Gita, because the whole story is exactly that. There's so much violence in a war. There is so much violence in a war. And the warrior Arjuna, who's a good person, saying, why do I have to be in this war? But he has to, because he has to protect the people. So you see, the intention should not be full of anger. The intention should not be to kill. The intention should not be to cause pain. The intention should be always to save when you have to do something violent in life. So if your intention is pure, then it is no longer considered as violence. Once when I was in a satsang in London and Gurudev was alive, and somebody asked him, he said, Gurudev, what if somebody comes into my house and with a gun, and I have a gun, and that person is threatening my family to kill my family, what should I do? And so Gurudev said, if you are very calm and collected, and you have a gun, and he's threatening to kill all your family, and he shows that he's about to do it, then you need to use that gun. You don't kill him, you can shoot him on his foot or something, or his arm or wherever, but you have the right to self-defense. He said, why? He said, and then the young man who was asking him the questions said, well, I thought we're supposed to sacrifice all our lives to do non-violence. And he goes, fine if you want to do it for yourself, but you are the protector of your family. So if you allow that man to kill your wife and kill your children, you are allowing him to commit a terrible crime, and also to earn this horrible karma of killing 5 people, which sooner or later will come back to him. Better you shoot him in the leg, let him go to prison, and everybody is saved. So that was one of the questions that was asked when I was in London. So intention is really important in the practice of non-violence. So the easiest path of all is to see everybody as divine, everything as divine. I know it's difficult in this human life. This is why it's important to practice and practice and practice, because the day will come, you will just be graced, you'll get up, and you know somebody's caused you a lot of pain, and you may be filled with anger, but you cannot, in your heart, you cannot even wish them bad. In fact, from your heart, what will come out is, they've done such a bad action, Lord, forgive them, they know not what they do. And that will come out. And this is what you have to work with. I tell a story often about, I think it was 10 or 12 years ago, a lot of violence was done to me by a particular person. And I was really, at the moment, I was really angry and quite hurt. I was really quite hurt. And I remember going home and staying up the whole night, crying because I knew I was angry. And I stayed up the whole night and prayed that I would not wish this person bad, because I was so angry. I really wanted to wish that person bad. I really wanted, but I prayed so hard that I wouldn't. And about 5 o'clock in the morning, after staying the whole night, I woke, resisting my own mind. You know, yoga's chitta vritti nirodha, the restraint of the modification of the mind stuff is yoga. I didn't allow that horrible thought to come up. And by 5 o'clock in the morning, it just left me. That anger with pain, that the intention was not good, left me. Then I could say I was really angry with that person, but it held no karma in it, because the intention was not to hurt anyone. But at the same time, I had to admit that this person, I felt, had wronged me. So the next step was to forgive. The next step for me was to forgive. And this is how you work with it. And this is what we will have experiences throughout our life. It doesn't mean that just because you practice a bit of yoga or a bit of non-violence, all this is going to stop. This is life. You know, we are going to have ups and downs. We're going to have roller coaster rides. We're going to have good times and bad times. We're good at the good times. Let's start to learn to be good at the bad times and maintain. You know, this is what yoga keeps talking about, equanimity of mind, which is balance, you know, balance, all the time balance. And when you see yourself getting out of balance, then you know what to do. The most incredible practice of all, breathe. Just breathe in. And then breathe out. And say your mantra, and it will bring you back. Be still and know that I'm God. That is from the Psalms. Be still. It will remind you. It will remind you who you are. Be still. Who are you connected to? The higher power. Your grace, your consciousness. That's where it comes from. And that's the practice, and it's such a simple practice. I don't know why people don't do it more. The thing is, they'll say, they get agitated and they'll breathe and they'll, no, you can't do that. You're gonna get worse. You gotta really sit still and breathe in really slowly. And breathe out really slowly. And if it doesn't slow down the first time, you breathe in and out till you actually slow down. And if you can't do the mantra, you count. You count, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes just counting will keep the mind steady. Okay? So that's the practice of non-violence. Our master said, always, and I think many of you know this statement so well, if not, memorize it. It will help you a lot in your life. A perfect action is one that causes no harm to anyone, some benefit to someone, yourself included. So you are in that equation also. So you also need to defend yourself. You also need to protect yourself. Sometimes as spiritual beings, we become a bit weak and we want to take the blame for everything. That also is not right. We think we're gods. We think, oh, we're so good by taking all the pain. Who do you think you are? You know? Why should you take all the pain? If you're meant to take the pain, I promise you, you will take it. But we try to be so artificially sweet as spiritual people that we make fools of ourselves. We're not authentic. We pretend. And that is not what we're here to do. We're here to be totally authentic, who we are, what we are. And if you haven't got there yet, that's no problem. Life is a journey. Spirituality is a journey. Finding ourselves is a journey. When you admit it, then you can be so truthful to yourself and you can grow so quickly. They say if you know something is wrong, rather than deny it and pretend to be something else, accept it. This is what's wrong with me. Then just acknowledging it is half the battle. Once you acknowledge it, you can fix it. While you're constantly pointing your fingers at somebody else, you cannot fix it. You can be nonviolent. You can say you're a good person, but really you haven't really practiced total ahimsa. Total ahimsa is when you stop pointing any fingers at anyone. And then the hostilities will cease. So as human beings, we make mistakes, so we just work. We don't stress about the work. You love it. You love it because the more peaceful you are, the less angry, jealous, or greedy thoughts you have, the more peaceful you are. We are hardwired, I'm convinced of it, to think good thoughts. Otherwise, why, when we get negative thoughts, jealousies, and anger, and when we lie and we do horrible things, do we suffer? Because you see, we're wired to be good. This is the desire of every human being, And like I said last week, when I was working with a prisoner, after 42 years in prison, his wish was, I just want to be good. I just want to change my life. I want to be loved. So, wow, that is such a nice turnaround for people when they do that. So let me get to the questions that I did not answer last week. What practice can you do in meditation to cultivate non-violence? There's a very simple practice. Okay, we can do it together now. We can do creative visualization if that's okay with you. So again, please close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath. Exhale. Feel the warmth around your neck and head area. This warmth seeping into your heart. Your hands, your legs, your feet. Be aware of this warmth. Be aware of the energy on your hands, especially the center of the palm of your hand. In fact, if it's on your lap, just place one hand over the other with the center of the palms against each other, almost like you're making an X shape. And now see a beautiful golden light surrounding your entire body like a cocoon. See yourself as you are dressed today. Watch yourself. And see yourself smile. See it. See yourself peaceful. And then bring the situation or the people that push your buttons and make you angry. Bring them into this light with you. Cover them with your light. And look at their faces. See their faces or the situation very clearly. And say, I forgive you for causing me pain. I release the need to hold on to this pain. I release the need to hold on to my negative thoughts of you. So I am setting you free. I am sorry that I allow you to bring out the worst in me. And then see their faces, see the situation lighten up. And that person or the situation start to ease and say to you, please forgive me. I too am so sorry. I just don't know better. I release the need to trigger you off again. We are both going to set each other free. See yourself gazing at each other's eyes, smiling, and let that person go. Let them go, let them go, let them go, smiling, and you walk away into the other direction, smiling, and let them go. It's over. They can't trigger you anymore. And then see yourself still covered in your own light. And look at why you have allowed them to trigger you, to awaken in you this anger. Why have you given away your power? Examine this. You will see again and again, it is your own ego, your own expectations of somebody else, what you want, your desire, how people should be. All expectations. And when you can see all comes from your expectations, then you realize you can free yourself by letting these expectations go. What we call Ishvara Pranidhanam, surrender and let go. Now see yourself able to let go. Your shoulders relaxing, your necks relaxing. Feel a joy in your heart as you bless the person that has caused you this anger, and feel the joy coming up. Bless you, and goodbye. I don't need that anger anymore. Hey, it's over. And feel the joy. Feel an upliftment of doing this practice. We always finish off any deep visualization with a prayer for the world. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May all those who hurt me be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May I be filled with peace and joy, love and light. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And you may open your eyes. After the visualization, it is very important to have 1 or 2 minutes of absolute silence with yourself. In fact, it is important to open your eyes and have silence with yourself, with your eyes open, because you are living in this world and you're bringing what you felt, what you've really focused on, up straight back into the world so you can deal with it. If you do this practice every day, you will see that the anger will start to leave you. And every day you'll feel lighter and lighter, and you'll like yourself more. you'll like yourself more. Oh, that's such a gift when you like yourself more. It's such a gift when you are lighter. So please, this is the practice. I hope it helps. It is a practice that I use on myself for years, and I feel so free with that practice. Is it enough to just feel indifference to those who have caused you and your loved ones pain? Is it enough? It is great. If you feel indifference, it's perfect. Because if you feel indifference, it means they're not occupying your mind. They're taking no space in your mind. You are free. Why would you want to keep going back to that anyway? That is the best. Indifference means you don't even think about them. They're not even there anymore. And that is when you're really free. That's really ahimsa in your mind, because you're not even having that little negative feeling there. Indifference is you don't think about them. Yes, it's absolutely perfect. Don't let them invade the space. It's great. Indifference is good. It's not a bad thing, because they've hurt you so much. So if you're indifferent, they have no indifference. They no longer have the power. They know you're indifferent, so they no longer have the power. Whatever they do to you, they no longer have the power. They cannot affect you anymore. You're above their field of energy. You're in the field of light energy, and they're still in the field of dark energy. So indifference is great. It's a total letting go. Thank you for that question. Is anger a violent thought? When you are angry at someone, e.g. a teenager, and shout and chastise them, are you going against ahimsa? Sometimes, anger is not a violent thought. Sometimes anger has to be applied when you try to make a point and somebody doesn't listen. And I'm going to give you some examples here. But is it against ahimsa when you shout and chastise them? Yes. Because now you've taken the anger to a very basic level, right? When you start shouting, I don't like it when you do that. It's too emotional. There's too much intention. There's too much emotion in it. All right? That feeling of non-attachment is not in that anger. Okay, so when you shout and chastise a person and tell them they're not good and that actually is violence. And this will produce the opposite result. That you might shut that child up for a little while, but they will rebel and they will always blame you for it. And they will say, many teenagers have said this to me, but my parents are always shouting. And the parents will tell me, but I told them once to do it and they don't do it. Then I get very irritated and then I shout. No excuse as a parent. You can get angry and you can say, I expect this done. And you can apply punishment and they can get as angry as they want. But you don't react to their anger. You need to be very balanced and very strong. And you say, this is just not acceptable. Done. But you don't need to shout and scream like a mad person, a mad mother or a mad father. Seeing father screaming at their sons, que tonto, que stupid, da, da, da. You lost it. You lost your child. And they'll keep repeating that again and again and again till you stop speaking like that. So anger is not violent when it is used to teach. The intention is to teach. The intention is to guide. And sometimes when you tell a teenager, don't do that, they won't listen, but mom, but dad, but da 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 da. I've told you already. Mom, da 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 da. And you'll say, that's it. I've had enough. No more. That's okay. That will keep them quiet, which you need to do, without you getting hysterical. Without you getting hysterical. I've told you what I thought. And I always used to say to my children when they went like that, I've told you what I've thought. If you want to do it, go do it. Get hurt. And when you get hurt, don't come to me because you've done it to yourself. Don't blame me. So yeah, you can do it that way. It worked, by the way. Always worked. It was magic. And they will say, when I say, do what you like, they used to say, tell me when they got older, Mom, we used to tremble when you say, do what you like. And they used to tremble and they wouldn't do it because they'd hear that voice and they just hear that voice. But it was never done in, you can't do this and da-da-da-da-da, you know, the way that I see some parents speak to their children as if the children have no brains, you know. Sometimes they're teenagers, they're going to rebel. They're going to want to do things that you don't want them to do. And I keep asking many of the parents that I deal with rebellious teenagers, you remember when you were young? Were you that perfect? Were you that perfect when you were young? Didn't you shout sometimes at your parents? And aren't you different now? So, you know, they're going through this stage. You need to have a little compassion. And, you know, teenagers today, you can talk to them. They're very intelligent. You can explain things to them in a nice way without lecturing them, without shouting. You need to sit down with them. You need to control your balance before you apply any kind of anger. The moment that anger is emotional, you've lost it. If the anger is done with knowledge, you have knowledge that you need to apply this anger in order to move things, then yes, apply that anger, and it's not violence. Teenagers are teenagers, you know, from the ages of, you know, sometimes 10 and a half even, or 11 to 16, the hormones are going all over the place. They don't understand. They're having new emotions that they have to deal with. They don't understand. There's so much change in them. They're also excited about life. They want to learn. They want to experience. They want to get away from their parents. They want to be with their friends. And I think we need to also understand where they're coming from more than what we would like them to be or what we would like them to do. But to sit down and say, why this aggravation? Why this tension? Why are you feeling like that? You know, normal when you're going through puberty, the hormones make you flare up very quickly. And so if they flare up, instead of flaring up with them, try to calm them down. Why don't you have a nice cup of tea or manzanilla and tell me what's bothering you? Because they will come angry and you will retort in an angry manner, and then they'll get fire with fire, just burns everyone. So my advice is, when you have a moody teenager, instead of reacting to their moods, tell them to relax, take a deep breath, and what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong. What's disturbing you? Why are you reacting like this? And no, it's nothing. Okay. If it's nothing, you wouldn't act like this. Tell me, what are you feeling? If you want to. And if you don't want to, then I don't like to see you suffer like this. Just have a nice cup of tea, a manzanilla, relax. And you will see within 5 minutes they will relax. All right? This is how you can deal with your teenagers. If we need to connect to the people who hurt us, how does it relate to the 4 locks and keys? Connecting instead of disregarding. I'm confused. Excellent question. For those who don't know about the 4 locks and keys, Book 1, Sutra 33, Sri Patanjali gives us the 4 locks and keys. And Swami Satchidananda says, even if you don't practice anything in your life, any yoga, practice these 4 locks and keys, because it will help you to deal with humanity and mankind and human beings. So the first one is friendliness towards the happy. When you see happy people, and many times there's jealousy, or there's, why are they happy? Why do they have more than me? This is the wrong reaction. Be in the company of happy people, because I'm in the company of happy people, so I'm happy. When you're in the company of your own jealousy or envy, you're not happy. When you're in the company of miserable people, you're not happy. So very simply, be friendly towards happy people. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. It uplifts your spirit. Don't be jealous that they're happy. Want to be by them and want to get... It's contagious. Get that contagion. You want that virus of happiness. You don't want to reject it. Oh, you're just happy. Oh, querida. No, you're happy. I want to be like you. I want to be in your energy field. And that's how you deal with it. The second one is compassion towards the unhappy. When people are unhappy, what do? Come on, get out of it. Come on, get out of it. You can get out of it. Lecture, 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 lecture. The more you tell them to get out of it, the more deeper they go into it. So you need to have compassion. I'm not going to go into it deeply. The next one is delight in the virtuous. So when people are virtuous, same as happy, praise them. Wow, there's so many good people in my life. There's so many good people. There are just so many good people. As you praise them, as you delight that there's so many good people, what will your heart be singing? It will be singing. It won't be looking at the negative that's in your way. You're going to feel positive, full of hope, because there are so many good people in this world. And wow, thank God there's so many. So delight, delight, delight. Don't focus on the people that are not so good. And finally, the one that she's referring to is disregard the wicked. Disregard the wicked could be like, doesn't mean the person is wicked. It could be that people are also good, but sometimes they do wicked things. Even your partners, they may be really good, but sometimes they may be moody and say horrible things. So you disregard that wicked action or the wicked person, so disregard is similar to indifference. I really do love this word. It's disregard is connected to non-attachment. Non-attachment. What is non-attachment? The consciousness of self-mastery in one who is not pulled by sense objects, seen or heard. What does that mean? It means that you become conscious, that you now have self-mastery. That when something or someone affects you in a negative way, you are able to step back with indifference or non-attachment. You don't get involved either in a good way or in a bad way. You just don't give it any energy. So here she is asking if we need to connect to the people who hurt us. Sometimes in life, situations are such with family, divorces, etc. You have to connect to the people that cause you pain, maybe because of children involved or finances involved. So what do? If they keep causing you pain, make the connection as brief as possible. Say as few words as possible. And when that person who hurts you rants and raves and shouts and screams, I'm sorry, I'm busy, goodbye, close the phone. Try not to allow those words to get to you. As much as you can, avoid their presence. Connect only because you have something that is necessary for you to do. So some situations, especially today, I see people do have to connect with an ex-partner, and every time they do, there is shouting and screaming, and it really is a horrible scene. And then you need to just keep quiet. It doesn't mean you don't fight for what is right. You call it passive resistance. And we had Amber here on a few weeks ago talking about being truthful, in these situations. So you can get what you want, but using peace to get what you want rather than violent words and anger for this kind of situation. So how do you use the 4 locks and keys? You're actually disregarding you're detaching from your own emotions to this negative person. This is difficult to do. Very difficult. The meditation I did earlier will help you a lot. It will help you a lot because it's not easy. But when you know somebody's causing you and your family pain constantly. But when you work on it, every case I've had, every single case of this, when the one partner has practiced this meditation and practiced the disregard and try not to get in their field, try to keep away as far as possible and see them as little as possible, they have got their reward of peace and balance. Not only have they got the reward of peace and balance, they have progressed in their yoga practice to such a degree, because this is what real spirituality is, right? That they really feel indifference. And many years later, not only do they feel indifference, there's a new emotion that comes out. And that is they actually feel gratitude for that lesson to those people. And they really wish them well. They really wish them well. I have seen this in many situations of people who have practiced this for a long time. And they're free. They become free. And the odd thing is, after many years, these people who were so horrible actually end up respecting them and are nice to them. I have seen this in so many cases I just cannot tell you. But so the secret is for you to connect as little with people who hurt you and disregard all the nastiness as much as you can. Try to use, if you have to fight for something, try and get an intermediary to do it for you in a very calm way, never wishing harm on them, never wishing anything horrible. Pray that you don't, because this is a difficult one and it does take time to develop. So thank you for that lovely question.